Hey, what's up? Michael, San Diego Skateboard Longboard Race Club. Today's little video clip is going to be about converting your Stage 11 Indy 215s with a longer 2.5-inch kingpin. The extra ½ inch after the conversion will give you quite a better, as you can see right here, easily an extra, well, I don't have to use my middle finger, but easily a fat finger's height taller. I didn't bring my tape measure out, but it's a considerable amount. This is a tall riptide bushing with a standard, these are RKP. This bushing on the bottom would go like with Arsenal or some Rogue trucks or some Ronin trucks, the bottom barrel, and then the top one would be like a traditional barrel for like these Paris right here. When you look at these two side by sides, I don't know if you can see the difference, but it's at least 2 axles lower, if not more. I actually tested after the conversion on this board. This is one of my custom decks. This is the finish with the JB weld in here. I'll explain real quickly how I got to this point. But on this double drop, yeah, the board had a nice carve to it, very stable. The one thing I do want to mention, that this board is set up for LDP, so the kingpin is just slightly lower than the hanger by maybe at the most a 1/4 inch, if not less. And I just wanted just to make that clear. And before I show my little demonstration, another thing I want to mention too is when I put the kingpin in, it's a permanent, because I'm just going to use these trucks for LDP. But if you are going to use, maybe knock the kingpin out and then use them again for pool, park, or skate, then I would do a little different process. I'll get to that in a second. The first thing you got to do is obviously knock the kingpin out. I was practicing this video clip and I was a little bit too much in a hurry. And if you knock this pin out on concrete, you're going to stamp it here with some, the rocks, the smooth rock surface on the concrete. So definitely this time around, I grabbed a towel real quick. You also, it's best if you're going to hit this, that you want to put a bolt on top of the threads, kind of protects it. I used a sledge. This one's probably, I don't know, 10 or 12 pounds. And you want to hit the kingpin in the direction of the angle. The sound changes as it breaks through. And then once the one edge is closest to the ground, you want to get it on a flat surface. Again, you can protect the base plate a little bit by putting a towel under there. I'm centering it up somewhat right there in the middle of the vise, and then just slowly tapping it through. Pull the nut off, and that's all it takes. But it's not a delicate operation. You just gotta, practice on a nail if you have to a few times. But this is a knurled bolt again, as opposed to I use a grade 8 and go to a hardware store and get a grade 8 kingpin bolt. I think it's 3/8, pretty sure. Here's the weld I do. You can get this at Home Depot. It's JB Weld. This is just a really good product. I've been using it since the 70s. I used to race motorcycles back then, and when I had a problem with my cases, this would take care of it. All right, the other thing you probably noticed that I have some, the truck is higher on this deck. It's because I'm trying to get it as low as I can to the ground. I just got some standard, some wedges, and I split them in half. And I de-wedged the trucks a little bit more. It just added a little bit of stability to it, and getting to lower the board lower to the ground was my main objective. But when everything's said and done, you still want an inch, you still want a clearance when you tap out the board. On this particular setup, I have some 80 Kegels on here, 80A Duro, but that's not really that important. Preferably, I would really like to run at least some speed vents, some 85, and maybe just notch out where the hanger is going to hit the deck, probably like a 1/4 inch, just to get a little bit more carve. This deck was custom cut and then notched out. And on one of my prior videos, I mentioned that you don't want the neck to be narrower than 4.5 inches, but I meant to say 4 inches. And this is 9-ply Canadian hard rock maple, so obviously different decks, it's going to have more flex, or it's going to have a weaker, it could have a weaker neck. On mixing the weld, you're going to mix this in equal proportions and spin it around. I mix it with like a paint stick. I split a few pieces off, so I have 5 or 6 pieces, really more than that, but you get the picture. And then I use a plastic lid and I spin it around. Obviously you want to use gloves. It's nice to have a little trash bag on the side with some paper towel to clean your tools. Once you have your mixture of your JB weld, you would then put a lot of, not a lot, but like a 1/16 inch. I always put the kingpin in first because I don't want to get any of the junk on the threads. But then I would put some JB weld on the inside here and then push it in, which will force a little bit into the seat of the base plate. And then, because like I said, I pretty much will leave the kingpin in, I just fill this here, make sure that it's level. And when you're letting this set, it's going to set, they recommend I think 12 hours, but I just do 24. Make sure that you already have somewhere to just, you know, I got 2 little equal boxes, and so it'll maybe drop a 1/16 of an inch, not even a 1/16, so 30 seconds. It'll seat a little bit, but it'll be pretty flat. And I think I already showed you right here. That's what it'll look like. And again, if you plan on using these trucks and you want to take the kingpin out and have it so you can put a 2.5 inch kingpin, I mean a 2 inch in there back again, then the difference is you would actually put grease on the inside of this kingpin bolt here, and you could go an extra precaution and maybe have a little bit of sleeve right here, and you wouldn't put JB weld on the inside here. You would just drop this bolt in and then pour it. It's a lot messier procedure. You're just trying to get the JB weld to be in the corners of the bolt. Actually, yeah, the grease goes around here, and you actually need to grease actually the bolt too, so that when you drop it, and then now, before it gets really hard, you can kind of push it out, and then you'll have a seat for the bolt. Because when you tighten the kingpin nut, when you got your washer stack in here, obviously you don't want this to spin. And Indy takes care of that problem by being a press fit with the knurl kingpin. All right, don't forget your gloves. Can't have too many gloves, I like to say. I hope this video is helpful. Yeah, 15, you can use probably an 8-pound sledge will be fine. All right, again, this is Michael. JesusRulesMinistry.com is a ministry I run for any of those who believe in the Lord. And feel free to contact me with any questions. I'll be glad to help you. This is Michael, San Diego Skateboard Longboard Race Club. I'm out of here.